Hi Cherry Pies, I'm going to show you some ideas for Yule readings that you can try out. The first one I'm going to show you is a quick and simple 3-card reading that I like to call the positive shift reading. Obviously all of the readings that I'm going to show you are kind of in alignment with the Yule themes and energies as I interpret them. And they're just readings that you can use to kind of help you to connect with those energies and tap into what you might be able to kind of determine and where you want to go forward from this point, and how you personally want to connect with Yule and what it means for you and what it can mean for your life and the lessons that you can bring into your life, etc. These readings would do really well kind of as an aside or an add-on to a ritual that you're doing for Yule, or just for some quiet contemplation and journaling time. I'm using the Osho Zen Tarot to give you an example of just the layout and what each card means. For the positive shift reading, position number 1 is what I like to call the radical acceptance position. So really what you're doing when you take a look at this card is you're having a look at the way things actually are right now, the good, the bad and the ugly. So what we're doing is we're using the message of this card to peel back any illusions, to really peel back any layers of confusion or any layers of kind of conflict or cognitive dissonance in the mind. We're really looking for you to get clear on where you are at this moment in time. What is going right at the moment? What's going wrong at the moment? What are you genuinely unhappy with? I think there's a lot of work attached to this particular card. There's a lot of journaling that you could perhaps be doing, because you're really thinking about what it is that you haven't been looking at so far and how you can start to look at that for what it is. Yule brings with it this really dual energy, this kind of two-tone energy of release and receive. So basically what we're doing is we're having a look at the lessons that have been gleaned, and we're actually now moving into that new direction, which is the return of solar energy. So in order to actually use the energy of Yule appropriately and harness it properly, we need to have those moments of radical acceptance. We need to sit down and kind of hash out for ourselves, what is it that has been achieved, what is it that has been done, what are we happy with, and what actually still hasn't been addressed, what is it that we might be avoiding, what is it that we might not be able to look at properly. Can we get a different perspective on that situation that we've been unable to see for what it is, so that we can use the Yule energies to really cleanse whatever's going on or understand whatever's going on in a new way. So really it's the radical acceptance card, or it's what I would call seeing things as they are, that kind of position. The second card for the positive shift spread is how to facilitate a positive shift. So with the Yule energy, there's a lot of opportunity for creating a positive shift at this time when the energies are kind of changing. And there are these new energies coming in. There's this tenacity that you can harness, this sense of motivation that you can harness as the solar energy returns and the sun becomes stronger. So with the second position, what I would suggest is that you use it to think about how you can harness the Yule energies to create a shift that's as positive and as useful for you as possible. And really just use this card to focus on how you want to create that shift, and how it is that you can actually bring your strengths and your capabilities to the table to make sure that this shift is as beneficial for you as it possibly can be and as inspiring as it possibly can be. The third position is a celebration of the increasing light. So really this one is just intended to be a wholly positive chance for you to check in with the light within you, the divinity within you, and how you want to tie that to your endeavours in the tangible realm. This card is really asking you to think about where the strengths are within yourself, where the light is within yourself, and also think about where the light is in the outer realms, in the material realm. What is it that you want to move towards as the light increases? And how can you really celebrate the energy within you that kind of gives you that spark of divinity and helps you to kind of live your life from that conscious and spirit-centered place? I really think this third position is just about positivity. It's about celebrating the light within and without, celebrating that fresh energy coming in, and really just reminding yourself to maintain and hone that positive mindset so that you can use Yule, so that you can really kind of ride on its back. You can ride the reins of Yule and really use it to bring so much positive stuff into your life, into your heart, into your mind. This second spread is called Roots and Wings. That's what I like to call it. So this first column is roots and the second column is wings. And I've picked 3 cards for each, but you might want to pick more, or you can pick just 2 or just 1, depending on how in depth you want to go. If you really kind of resonate with the theme of this particular spread, then you can make it into a full-length reading if you so choose. So the first column is 3 cards for the theme of roots. Now for me, roots is basically whatever you have developed over the course of the time since the last Yule, whatever you've realised, whatever you've built, the inner stability that you've brought into being, whatever you have generated using your energy and your strengths. What have you been building? What have you been kind of working on? And what's given you your strong foundations? What are your roots at the moment? And so really you're checking in with and acknowledging what your roots are at this point in time and how you can use them to really step into your power at this time of shifting energy. So it's really just about checking in and taking stock and kind of recognising whereabouts you are, what you've been working towards, where things are at this point in time, and how you can use that to kind of forge ahead and keep building on what's already there. With wings, which is the second column, we're really looking at where you want to go. We're looking at the dreams that you now harbour and how you want to facilitate them and how you can realise them, and which strengths and which mindsets you can bring into the equation to actually allow your dreams to become a reality. So we're thinking about what your dreams are, what your strongest passions are, your truest intentions, your highest visions, and then also just thinking about how you can bring them into being. Now, what you can do is you can use the first 2 cards to take a look at roots, you know, stability and that kind of thing, and the first 2 cards here to take a look at wings, and then you can kind of separate these bottom 2 cards and use these as the advice cards if you want to. Or you can go ahead and just have 3 of each, 3 for roots and 3 for wings, and then just basically use the messages intuitively to kind of think about which cards are more representative of what it is that you've kind of been building, and which cards are more representative of the advice to kind of help you to move forward. And then with wings, kind of which are more representative of what your truest dreams and intentions really are, and which are more representative of the energies that you would need to bring into fruition to kind of facilitate those dreams and kind of realise your visions, if you like. So I think just play with the theme of roots and wings, and actually you can really incorporate this into any other spreads that you particularly like to use at around the time of Yule or at any times of great change in your life. Think about the card positions that you actually really appreciate and the ones that you've gotten the most out of, and maybe see if you can incorporate the roots and wings idea into any existing spreads that you do use, and see if that can be helpful or if that kind of offers you some areas of illumination. This next spread is called the Fourfold Reflection, and I really think this is just about using Yule and using that kind of duality and that shifting energy of Yule as a chance to check in and just think about where you are in each of these 4 areas of your life. So the first card for the Fourfold Reflection is physical, taking a look at your physical health and well-being, your connection to the 5 senses, maybe your connection to the world around you, etc. You could possibly also think about your relationship with money, your relationship with the work that you're doing. That could also maybe be part of physical, but I would say definitely health and well-being. The second card for the Fourfold Reflection is mental, so we're taking a look at your thoughts, your belief structures, anything that's working for you in that regard, anything that's not working for you, the worries that are on your mind, the things that you might want to kind of develop and bring together, anything to do with cognitive function, anything to do with what's going on in your head at the moment. The third card for the Fourfold Reflection is spiritual, so you're checking in with your spiritual journey, you're checking in with your spiritual thoughts and considerations, the lessons that you've learned, and where you might want to go on in your spiritual journey next. So really just check in and take stock, and take a look at your spiritual path, what you want to do with it, what you have been doing with it, the positive and negative sides to it at the minute. And then the fourth card for the Fourfold Reflection is emotional. So for this you could be looking at what your emotions are doing and saying at the minute, where you kind of feel that you have a lot of self-mastery over your emotions, and where you feel that your emotions actually have control over you. You might also want to put relationships into your considerations for this card, although of course you might find that some evidence of the relationship dynamics in your life do come up in the mental position as well, position 2. So really the Fourfold Reflection is just a chance to check in, and it kind of splits things down nicely into those 4 areas: physical, mental, spiritual and emotional. So this is something else for you to try. Okay, so the next idea is a 6-card spread. I like to call this one Emergence from Hibernation, which is obviously a big part of the energetic theme for Yule. We're really thinking about emerging from the darkness into the light and shifting that energy from being restful and being contemplative and maybe doing inner work to actually being active and to being tenacious and to doing work in the outer realm to reflect the work that's been going on in the inner realm. So this is really kind of my interpretation and one of the key things for me about the Yule energy, and that would be kind of the process of leaving hibernation. That's really what it kind of means for me. So I've invented this 6-card spread to kind of help you to tap into that theme and use that to kind of show you where you are, where you might want to go, and the lessons that you can kind of learn from this particular time of year. So the first is the core card. So this is really just checking in with your current mindset and circumstances at the time of doing the reading, and just kind of leave the meaning of this card quite open. Just see kind of what it reflects for you and what insights it brings to mind for you at the moment. Just really be present with yourself, sit with yourself as you take a look at this card, think about what it really means for you at this time. This card is really just a mirror reflection of what's going on with you in the moment. Card 2 is the lessons. So with this card, what I'm asking you to do is to use this spread and this time of year as a chance to really kind of focus on what your lessons have been and whether or not you have absorbed your lessons to the fullest extent possible. Think about what it is that you've learned since the last time that you celebrated Yule. How far have you come in the various different aspects of your life? What have been the harsh lessons? What have been the lessons that have felt like blessings? Which lessons have really opened you up and given you that sense that you have really moved on and that you have really evolved since this time 12 months ago. So it's really just about looking at what you've learned and whether or not you've processed those lessons appropriately and in the most useful way for you. The third card is your release card. This kind of involves taking a look at releasing what no longer serves. I'm asking you to just be really honest with yourself when you take a look at the card for this position. Really have that inner dialogue with yourself. Ask yourself honestly what it is that you may need to release that is no longer serving you, that is stale, that is stagnant, that is making you panic, that is kind of pulling you away from love and pushing you very, very forcefully into that area of fear, which is where you don't want to be. Really think about what it is that's not doing you any good, what it is that you may just need to shake off or release, or at least take some distance from until you're clearer on what your course of action should be. So I think this third card is one that you can really use to get clear on what it is that you might need to shrug off or walk away from, or recognise that the influence is not healthy and you need to do something about that. Because of course, when we're looking at the Yule energy, we're really looking at getting prepared. We're preparing ourselves for the emergence of that super masculine solar energy. We're preparing ourselves to do something. I want you to fast forward to where you want to be at Beltane. That's what I really want you to do with this card. I want you to think about what it is that you need to release right now so that you can be where you want to be when Beltane comes. Be really honest with yourself. What's hanging around your neck that is really stopping you from manifesting into that glorious Beltane energy that is coming? Because really you're thinking about what you want to build, how you want to build it, and how you can be as free as possible to create what it is that you want to create. So it's about those moments of honesty. It's about getting real with yourself about what really needs to go in order for you to get where you want to go, if that makes sense. Position number 4 is the key focus areas for the next 3 months. So what we're doing here is we're allowing ourselves a little bit of laser focus. Rather than thinking about the future on some kind of indeterminate timeline or thinking about the entire year ahead, we're actually just allowing ourselves to get clear on the next 3 months. And what you can do is you can actually draw a card for each of the 3 months if you want to. So you can kind of allow it to kind of to sprout off like that into the next 3 months, January, February, March, which is what I do for my 2015 Kickstart readings. I actually use a card for each of the first 3 months of the new year to help with that laser focus and to help people to really crystallize their intentions and think about what it is that they really want to do for each month and the focus areas for each month. What I would suggest either way though is that the 4th position should really be about where you want to focus your energy for the first 3 months of the new year, and really just get clear on the themes and think about where it is that you want to place your power, your dynamism, your sense of imagination, your sense of tenacity, your sense of what's possible. All of those things can be kind of channeled into various different avenues, and what I want you to do is use this card to get clear on what January, February and March 2015 is going to be about for you in terms of energy and where you choose to spend that energy. The fifth card also can be broken down into 3 separate messages, because the fifth card is actually about the steps that you can take to succeed over the next 3 months, the first 3 months of 2015. So again, we're allowing ourselves that time to get laser focused, and we're also actually cutting down the future into just the first 3 months, so we can really get clear on exactly what we're going to do to facilitate success and happiness, etc. So again, as with this card, you can actually branch off into 3 separate cards to give you 3 distinct steps to success if that's what you want to do. But either way, position 5 is about getting clear on how to facilitate what it is that you want to facilitate over the first 3 months of 2015. And finally, card 6 is the blind spot card, or the unconscious card. This card will basically just give you a chance to have a look at anything that you might have missed. So this is really the card that gives you the clues on the stuff that maybe you're not looking at, maybe you're not clear enough on, maybe you haven't been giving as much attention to that you might now need to. So I often find a blind spot card or an unconscious card can be very useful in kind of drawing our eye and drawing our attention to the stuff that maybe we're not so hot on or not so clear on, and maybe really need to take a look at as we move into this new energy. Just make sure that we've got everything in front of us and everything in order, we've got all our ducks lined up, etc. So use the blind spot card to just kind of give you that kind of snap of illumination, or kind of shake you awake if there are any things that you've been overlooking. Now's the time to get focused on those things. I just want to mention one more kind of winning 4-card combination. This is something that I have mentioned quite a few times before. I'll continue to mention it in the future. It is release, receive, action and healing. I've decided to do it in this cute little diamond shape, but you can do it however you fancy doing it. But I really feel like release, receive, action and healing just actually really gives you a great little check-in. It's kind of like the fourfold reflection, but it's kind of different overarching themes, a different energy to it. So I would recommend as well, release, receive, action and healing. Just use those 4 words and kind of channel the energies of each card in accordance with the meanings of those words, and you'll find that this is actually a great way to check in with yourself, decide what you need to release, decide what you need to receive going forwards, the energies that you want to be incoming, the energies that you want to let go of. Think about any healing which needs to take place or that has taken place, and then decide upon that action. You know, what do you want to bring into being after Yule and as that kind of solar energy returns. So I just wanted to mention that this is a great little 4-card option as well. Finally, before I go, I just wanted to remind you that Yule is a really good time to do your 12-month forecast for the 12 months ahead, because obviously Yule coincides with Christmas, which coincides with New Year's resolutions. I know that a lot of us spiritual types actually use Samhain as a big time to kind of create resolutions and decide where we want to go. You know, Samhain is Gaelic New Year, it is a traditional time for that stuff. However, I think it's undeniable that the energy of rebirth and that energy of renewal and everybody else making New Year's resolutions, it kind of rubs off, right? You know, there's that fresh feeling, there's that feeling of like, yes, it's a new beginning and it's a new focus, and it's kind of a chance for me to recalibrate and get really clear on what I want the next 12 months to mean to me. So it's the perfect time to do a 12-month forecast. And you don't have to do this in any highly predictive way or kind of overtly future focused way if you don't want to. You can simply write down some notes for each month to help you get clear on certain strengths that you could bring into being, certain opportunities that you might be able to grasp hold of, different themes that might be coming into fruition, reminders for yourself, just anything that kind of comes up for each card. And then as you go through the year, you can read through your oracle card or tarot card for the month, and you'll be absolutely astounded at how appropriate it really is and how helpful it is. And it's kind of weird because it's kind of like you talking to yourself. So it's kind of like where you write a letter to yourself in 10 years time, and then you open the letter and it's kind of like you having a conversation with yourself as though kind of you've jumped through time, or kind of like you've messed with the linear time dynamic. So that's quite fun to actually read your own writing and get a sense of the advice that you wanted to give yourself in that moment, you know. So when you finally get to August and you read your advice from kind of Yule 2013, there's something really exciting and interesting about that. So I would encourage you, if you've never done a 12-month forecast before, to go ahead and do one. And I know that those of you that are working on the Leonie Dawson Life and Biz workbook, a lot of you will be doing a 12-month forecast because Leonie has advised us to do one. So I'm going to be doing that myself. This was just something that I wanted to mention as another key idea for Yule, and I hope that these spreads have been very helpful. Please let me know below if you tried any of them and if you got great results with them. I wish you a very, very blessed Yule, and much love. Blessed be.